Hey, what is going on everyone? I hope you guys are all having a great day. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to get to Dropship Island in Apex Legends Season 16. In this video, I'll be going over the two ways that you can get to Dropship Island. I'll be going over the super easy way that you can do with 2 people, and I will also be going over my solo work in progress method at the end of this video. And just before I go over all of that, a huge thank you to Novel for helping me out during this video. It feels like every season it just gets easier and easier to get to Dropship Island because you will need certain legends in order to do this glitch, but luckily every legend is free to use in the firing range, which makes doing this super fun and easy. You won't have to try and substitute other legends out for others. Now the first thing you'll want to do once you load into the firing range, you'll want to make your way down to where all the supplies are, and you'll just want to fill up on ultimate accelerants. Now what your other friend needs to do, in my case Novel, he's going to need to go over and pick up a weapon with a lot of ammo, and it's not a bad idea to carry some extra ultimate accelerants, but he's going to need to pick all this up because later down the line he's going to need to deal some damage in order to do this glitch. You can bring grenades, but I wouldn't recommend it personally, and you'll see why very shortly. I'll just say grenades and super small places don't mix. Now once you've got all your supplies, you'll just want to make your way behind the charge tower. Once you make it past here, you'll see a little opening in the side of the firing range, and this is how you'll get out. What you'll need to do is switch to Loba and take out your ring, and you will need to line it up just right, but you want to throw your ring into this little hole. Once you've done that, you'll want to switch to a character like Valk, and you will want to follow the path that I take. What you need to do now is just hug the ceiling of the firing range and make your way around. And a huge thing to point out, there are some super shallow death barriers down here, so that's why you always need to hug the ceiling. And as Valk, you'll just need to fly to these little formations underneath the firing range. And I definitely recommend every time you exhaust your jetpack fuel, you'll just want to switch to another legend and then back to Valk, and you'll have your jetpack fuel back. Now once you get past all of this, you'll be at this open area with a floating cube. This is a safe place with no death barriers, so this is a great place if you want to take a break and wait for your other players to catch up. Now once everyone's ready to go, you'll have to do some climbing, and again you'll also want to follow the path I take. This route is very easy to do and there aren't going to be any death barriers whatsoever. Now eventually you're going to make it to all these little rock formation pillars, and in between the two of them there's going to be a little area, and you'll just want to land there. And if you have been out to Airship Island before, you know that you need to break through 2 barriers in order to get there, and this is the spot where you will be doing that. I have found that this spot in particular is the easiest place that you can do this. Now this process is fairly simple, but it might take a couple tries. What you're going to need to do is have your friend knock you. So all you'll need to do is turn off friendly fire. Once you get knocked, you're going to want to push yourself against that invisible barrier as much as you can. And then you're going to want to get your friend, and you will want to make sure that they're playing Valk, and I'll explain why they need to be doing that in a second. Now from here, you're going to want to get your friend to finish you as you're being pushed up against this invisible barrier, and you'll want to make sure that they get as close to you as possible. Now as you're getting finished, you'll want to wait until it's almost over, and then just as the finisher is about to be over, you'll want to change your legend to any other legend. And for time's sake, it can be any legend. Just make sure you swap as fast as you can, because if you don't swap your legend in time, you're gonna be back at the firing range tunnels. And again, doing this may take a couple tries. When we ended up trying this first, I ended up getting stuck in between the first barrier for some reason. It is super strange. You're gonna be stuck in place. If this happens, just repeat the same process, and you should see when this is done again, you're now on the other side of the barrier. The easiest thing you can do now is just to bleed out. Once you've done this and you're in the death screen, you'll just want to switch to whichever legend and you should be just fine. And the reason you'll want to finish as Valk is because she has one of the special finishers, which adds friction between you and the barrier. So that's the whole reason that you get sent through the barrier in the first place, because you actually have something pushing up against you, and being finished with one of those special finishers ultimately helps you get pushed through the barrier. And another huge thing to point out, I would definitely avoid doing this near the sides. This is definitely a fluke, and I don't think this will happen to everyone, but you may end up for whatever reason getting pushed through the wrong barrier, and I have experienced getting pushed backwards. Now, once you have made it through and your friend is behind the first barrier and you're behind the second, what you want to do now is pop some ultimate accelerants. And then once you have your ultimate, you'll want to get as close to the first barrier as you can, and you'll want to have your friend connect to your ultimate. There is always that possibility that you'll do this and your friend still gets stuck behind the first barrier. You'll just want to make sure that they're not too close to the invisible barrier, because if they are, when you take off, they're actually going to get stuck to the invisible barrier and they won't go through. But if you make sure that they're hanging exactly behind you and they're not that close to the invisible barrier, you should activate your ultimate, go up, and everyone should be through. Now, once you make it to the second barrier, this is the same process as getting through the first barrier. And even better, it's a lot more easier to get through this because I found that it isn't as wide as the first, so you're not going to be getting stuck in between it. Now, once you've gotten through the second barrier, same thing again, just get your ultimate ready, get as close to the invisible wall as you can, make sure the positioning is right, and then take off. And once you have done this, you're done. All you need to do now is just fly towards Dropship Island. Once you land, there is plenty to see and do. For starters, it is cool to look inside the dropship. There's also going to be a group of crates, and by those crates, there are going to be some towers. And the really neat thing about these is they can be climbed, so you can climb all the way up to the skybox, as well as you can Valk alt again and get to another island off in the distance from Dropship Island. And this other island is really cool as well. Honestly, it's just really neat looking back and seeing the firing range from this angle. And there really is so much more for you to explore out here. Now, the last thing I want to go over in this video is the solo method that I have been working on, and I'll let you guys in on what I've been trying to do. Since you need something to be actively pushing you up against the barrier as you switch legends, I got the thinking, couldn't I just use a frag grenade, because that would work perfectly. As soon as it blows up, you're going to immediately get pushed into this wall. Now, I actually have been testing this method out, but of course this is super hard because you have to get the timing down perfectly. And I'm going to keep experimenting with this method because I'm sure eventually I'll find a way. At the end of the day, it's always going to be easier with 2 people. You could also use an alt account and go between 2 accounts, but that's also a little bit more time consuming. If you want to find someone to do this with, then I definitely recommend joining my Discord server. We have a ton of active members over there as well as myself, so I would definitely recommend joining. And with all that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching this video. A huge thank you to my subscribers and channel members. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and I'll see you all around later. Bye, guys. Hey, let me try. Okay, let me do this then. And make it? No.
She's just passing out. If you could see my POV right now. Oh my god.
Dude, what?
Oh my. What? Oh
Yeah.
god, okay, I thought you died. I was gonna cry.